4, UMHB took on number 5, Wesley, in a matchup that saw the first 8 matches be split evenly 4-4, and where no team had ever won more than 2 games in a row. UMHB coming into this season having won the last 2 games last year, one in Delaware and then one in the playoffs. And UMHB came in tonight excited about the new stadium and rolled up a 35-7 win. The story of the night really was UMHB's defense. It hadn't given up a touchdown inside the red zone all season long through the first 2 games, and tonight the same thing held true, where the UMHB defense was stifling. They had 4 sacks on the night, and anytime Wesley tried to do something, the defenders were there to stop it. In the first, Wesley won the toss and deferred, so UMHB took the ball, and Zach Anderson, the sophomore quarterback that came into the game last week against Kane and led the crew to a second half scoring drive. He came in, started the game tonight, and led the crew to a first quarter score, 7-0 when he took the ball in on a run. There are 2 3-and-outs for Wesley, followed by 2 consecutive turnovers by Zach Anderson, an interception and a fumble that gave Wesley a great field position. But again, the UMHB defense held true, forcing a field goal opportunity that was missed. That field goal was blocked, and UMHB in the past has been able to block a lot of kicks, and they hadn't had any this year, but they finally got their first block of the season tonight. Another Zach Anderson run later in the half gave the crew a 14-0 first half lead, and then later on Elijah Hudson took a pass from Zach Anderson, 21-0. So the sophomore really stepped up his game tonight. He did have 2 interceptions, but he led the crew and stayed focused, and he's growing into be a great quarterback. At the halftime, Zach had 11 of 16 for 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He ran 8 times for 52 yards and 2 touchdowns. Elijah Hudson ran for 39 yards, caught a couple of passes for 78 yards and a touchdown. Going into the second half, it was a question of whether or not Wesley would make the halftime changes to try and jump back into the game, really try and turn this tide from a crowd of 9,000 plus that was here to see the crew win their first true home game. But again, the defense was just too much. Elijah Hudson had a 6-yard touchdown run, making it 28-0, and then another 1-yard run to cap off the scoring for the crew at 35-0. A late Curtis Maxwell 3-yard plunge for Wesley made it 35-7. Finally, finishing up the stats, Zach Anderson 238 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Elijah Hudson 61 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, the D forced 4 sacks and really stifled the Wesley quarterback all night long. So a big game for the crew, a great way to open up Crusader Stadium. And this is Chad Hammonds from my D3Football.com report. I hope to see it on D3Football.com.